What's up, everyone? It is Denise Salcedo. Welcome back to the channel. I am very happy to introduce to you my guest for today. He is a former IWGP Heavyweight Champion, former IWGP Intercontinental Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome New Japan Pro Wrestling's very own, the Switchblade, Jay White. What's up, Jay?
Hey, Denise, I appreciate that. You missed off a couple of accolades there, I believe, though.
Oh, I missed a few.
Yeah, you missed a few. I know you had the heavyweight and intercontinental. So don't forget the United States and the Never, which was making me the first ever Grand Slam champion.
Oh, trust me. I was like, if I'm here and I list all of your accomplishments, I'll be here for quite a while. So I was like, okay, I'll get a couple here and then we'll go right into this. But Jay, like you have literally just been making you've been making your own mark in the wrestling world, which to be honest has been very cool to see. It's been very exciting to see your growth in professional wrestling. So I was very happy when I got the opportunity to do this interview with you. So I'll touch back on that in a little bit, but I do kind of want to kick off this interview kind of asking you, how are you, man? How's it going?
I'm good. There's probably the things I'd rather be doing than doing wrestling interviews, but here we are. So,
well, hopefully I entertain you these next couple of minutes. So we're actually going to go ahead and get started. We're going to talk about, I want to kick things off with Wrestle Kingdom because Wrestle Kingdom is kind of, I'm curious with everything that's going on with Japan right now, obviously with the pandemic and COVID and all of the issues surrounding that. I do want to know, do you think you're going to be at Wrestle Kingdom?
I knew this question was going to come. This is like all those other questions when it's saying, are we going to see you here? When are we going to see you there? Like in your case now, am I going to be at Wrestle Kingdom? What's happening there? I'm not going to give away anything that could be a surprise. And if I say, no, I'm not going to be there, are you going to believe me? No, you're probably not. So it almost doesn't matter what my answer is, whether I say, hey, yeah, I love it, Wrestle Kingdom, I'm going to be there, or if I say, no, I'm not. Because at the end of the day, you just have to wait and see which one's going to be true.
Well, I hope that with everything, I hope that things do get cleared up, and I hope that we do get to see you at Wrestle Kingdom. But kind of keeping on note with Wrestle Kingdom as well, Night 3, there was a huge announcement made that we're going to be seeing Noah guys come in and battle up against New Japan guys. So I am curious, what was your reaction? And do your reaction to the announcement? And did you ever think that this was something that was going to be a possibility?
My reaction is that it's very clear why they're doing that. You think about it, last year, or this year still, the beginning of this year, I was there. They didn't need to look for any help from Noah or any other companies. Now, it looks like I may not be there, and so now they need help. That's how I see it anyway. I'm also not surprised. The other thing you play into that, we've got New Japan Strong growing aggressively and rapidly, and that's where I am. So when you connect the dots, it kind of makes sense to me why they're having to reach out to companies like Noah. But it's got a lot of fans excited, so if it's going to work out, then it's going to work out. Maybe I'll sit back and watch. Maybe I'll be in the ring, like we just said. Wait and see.
Now, with a lot of the Noah guys, I am curious. Is there anybody that you kind of have your eye on?
I know this is you got to be the fourth person that's maybe asked me in the space of a few days, and I'm going to give you the same answer that I give you. No, you know what? What I should do is just give different answers to every single different person. So then when you all put it out there, people don't know what the hell to believe. But no, I'll give you the same one because it's probably the truthful one. If I had to pick somebody that I would like to square off against, I'll just have to go with Marufuji, purely because he's the only guy that I've really got any history with there. I wrestled him a few years ago when I was a young lion, and I looked up to him a lot. So it'd be nice to maybe get back in the ring with him and, hey, teach him a few things.
I like that. I think that would be pretty awesome. So now you mentioned just now, New Japan Strong. We do have New Japan of America. You guys have been making headwaves of New Japan Strong. I know I got a chance to talk to Juice Robinson about this, and he basically talked about how this was essentially birthed out of the pandemic, and now New Japan Strong being its own official thing. I do want to get your thoughts on the actual product, how you feel about it, and how you feel about the different direction in which we're seeing this this new product unfold out under the New Japan umbrella?
Well, I would hope it would be obvious that I'm all for it, seeing as I'm investing my time and energy into it as well. Like he said, it was born out of the pandemic. Yeah, there's the opportunity there that I've seen, and even guys like Juice and even guys like David Finlay seem to have seen, they can see the potential there, the opportunity there. And I can see the hunger in these other guys that they want to make Strong something as well. Whether I like them personally or not, it's either here or there. So what I want to do with Strong is a lot of the time people are now talking about, hey, we want to get this person or you guys back to Japan, New Japan. I want it to be the other way around. I want New Japan Strong here in the States to be home base, and everybody wants everybody else to come here now. So I'm going to do what I can, put my time and energy into growing that and making that happen, because I see bigger potential here than what's going on in Japan right now.
And that's interesting too, because like we said, like this is something that was spawned out of the pandemic and it has kind of flourished and became its own thing. And now, you just mentioned this new vision that you sort of have for it. So when you first, got the concept of New Japan Strong and, seeing how it has unfolded, what has been like the major differences or something that you might have expected it, how you originally felt when the New Japan Strong announcement was made to where it is now and what it has essentially become?
Differences between then and now, you saying?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. That's not something I really think about actively or at all, to be honest. So it's not really something at the forefront of my mind, how I thought then compared to now. I mean, when you say it was born out of pandemic, whether it's Juice's words or whatever, we started, I know, expanding into the States just before things turned to shit. And then now when they did, yeah, there's more opportunity there for it. I think the difference between before and now is that before it just seemed like almost a bit of a side gig, sideshow to the New Japan going in Japan. Whereas the difference now, which I kind of just touched on, is that no, this doesn't have to just be a sideshow. This doesn't have to just be a side gig for wrestlers and for fans or just in general. I think this can be the main thing. The quality of the guys there. I think it's, you're almost competing, if not better than the guys over in Japan. So I think that's the difference now. Instead of it being maybe a side gig, now I think you can see that there's real potential for it to become the main piece, and the Japan side can be the side gig.
Yeah, and it is interesting because obviously you're seeing guys in New Japan Strong that you probably wouldn't see in New Japan regularly or haven't seen in New Japan regularly. Just to see them in New Japan Strong, it's kind of like you sort of have to. Do you feel like you have to kind of like convince the viewers, like, hey, check this out. This is because people expect a certain type of product from New Japan, and now they're getting New Japan Strong. Do you feel like there's been any sort of trying to convince fans to hey, check it out and see it at the same level that you're seeing New Japan in?
Yeah, but that's going to apply to anything new, absolutely anything new, whether it's wrestling companies or even just a wrestler themselves or just anything. Anything's new like that, it's going to take a bit of time, and it's going to take time for people's eyes to get on. And then travel by word of mouth, hey, you got to check this out. And I think a big difference for us was that when we were able to have crowds come back to New Japan Strong, obviously the crowds at the shows made a big difference, but then for everybody that's watching it, instead of watching empty arenas, now they can finally see New Japan with a live crowd again. Granted, it's in the States, but it's better than what you've got going on in Japan with the crowds, with just the clapping. So I think that's a big difference, that people can now see that, and then they see, oh shit, yeah, they've got something here. So then they want to go to the shows and stuff. And then I think that momentum picks up, and it'll just keep going from there. But again, like anything, it's always just going to take time at the start. I know people can be very impatient, especially when it comes to wrestling. Everybody wants everything to happen right away, right then and now, but things take time.
And speaking of things taking time, I think the last, year and a half now, ever since the pandemic sort of took effect, you can say that everybody's life has changed, maybe for the better, for the worse. I do kind of want to get an idea of how you feel your life has changed since the start of like the COVID and lockdown and, the travel restrictions and not being able to go places like you normally would. How do you feel your life has changed from that point to where we are now?
I don't know where to start, to be honest. You know what, though? Through the journey of it, there's going to be ups and downs, like it's the case for everybody. But I know for me it's worked out personally for the best, because like everything I've just been saying, we have this opportunity here with Strong that we wouldn't have had before. So I'm pretty confident in where we are with that. So in terms of how that journey's gone for me, yeah, of course there's ups and downs. That's how it is for everybody, but it's working out. We make the best of it. That's what we're meant to do, and hopefully it just keeps going up from here.
Exactly. And also here, so you mentioned like, going up from here and all of that. Here's the thing that I do want to get at, and I kind of mentioned this at the top of our interview, is sort of the evolution of JY and what you have been doing in the last several years, because I feel like you're one of those guys that you had certain people that were kind of not seeing you in a certain light, but then you had other people that were like, this guy is a top star. And I feel like, ever since, you returned to New Japan after coming back from Ring of Honor, you get put into this match, in Wrestle Kingdom with Tanahashi. From there, you end up defeating Kenny Omega, you become IWGP United States champion. So it's kind of like one of those things where you really saw this growth for you in your career. So what I'm trying to get at is, what did it feel like to you, or what did it mean to you to kind of have the fans that didn't necessarily believe in you and sort of have their perspective of you change? Because you did make a lot of changes and we saw that growth. And I mentioned just a couple of the things that you did there. So how did that work out? Like, how do you feel that worked out?
Well, luckily for me, I don't rely on other people's opinions to validate myself, whether it's my career accomplishments or just myself in general. I know people, like I just touched on that, things are going to take time, especially when things are new, it's going to take time. But I know that. I don't expect other people to know that. That's why I'm the one in the ring, not the one sat outside at making noise. I know what I knew. I always knew what I was capable of. I always knew where I was going to go. You can go back. I'm sure there's times where I've said that publicly as well. It's all white noise, whether it's other people's opinions. Hey, even if they're good ones of me, doesn't mean that they're right. They may be wrong at the time. At the end of the day, I just got to listen to myself and trust myself and what I think and believe. And I've just got to follow that path, because if I was to listen to everybody else and to go off every single word they said, or to give weight to those opinions, I wouldn't be where I am right now. I wouldn't be the first ever Grand Slam champion. I wouldn't have single-handedly sold at Madison Square Garden. So those opinions, they mean nothing to me, because I know I'm right in what my path was.
And even like the changes in your presentation, I felt like you kind of like started presenting yourself in a different light, which kind of just like added more to the Switchblade persona. So I do kind of want to ask you, what were some of the motivations? What were some of the inspirational factors that went into creating the persona of the Switchblade Jay White?
It really is just natural growth. I'm sure the better answer would be if there was something from a movie or something that inspired me like that, but that's not how I am, and that's just not how I am. It's just the natural growth and learning from the time in the ring and from the experience. The thing is, you gotta keep growing and evolving. I know it's cliche to say, everybody says it, but not everybody does it. You have to be constantly reevaluating yourself in the ring and outside of the ring, and seeing what areas you can improve on. And so long as I kept doing that, I knew I would keep getting better. So I knew that there wasn't, some sort of inspiration. My inspiration was myself.
I love that. I love that. It was pretty cool to kind of like just like see you go out there and like be able to kind of like present yourself in this new light, which was pretty exciting to see. So with that being said, we do have some stuff that we want to talk about in terms of Los Angeles. As an LA local, I'm very excited because you guys have on December 9th the tapings for Nemesis, New Japan Strong. And then on top of that, this weekend actually, you're going to be at LA Comic-Con. So can you tell us about both LA Comic-Con and Nemesis?
Yeah, that's right. This Saturday we're doing the Los Angeles Comic-Con. I know we've got a panel on from 10:30 a.m. I believe it's myself, Fred Rosser, and originally it's meant to be Clark Connors, but by the time this comes out, I think they would have announced that's been changed to Gabriel Kidd. So we'll be doing that panel at 10:30, hosted by a group called the Hashtag Show, I believe is their name. And then later in the day, for myself, 1 p.m. we'll be doing a meet and greet. I know they have merch and stuff there. We have a New Japan booth, so people can come on by. So that's happening Saturday. And then, like you touched on it, Thursday, which is December 9th, we got Nemesis in Hollywood. I get a young kid in Christopher Daniels. That's how he seems in his career these days anyway, because it's like he started all over again. So maybe I can give him a few pointers. Maybe in Hollywood I can give him his big break and make him famous. Maybe a few people learn about the local Christopher Daniels and see if he can make something of his career.
Awesome, awesome. I know fans can't wait. LA Comic-Con is a huge event, so that's going to be very exciting to kind of like go and experience. So, Jay, before we move on to our last portion of this interview, I do have one final question for you, and it may be a generic question, but 2022, we're literally on the brink of this brand new year. So I kind of want to get an insight as to what is Jay White's future going to look like 2022, at least in your mind.
You want me to give away all my plans and everywhere where I'm
All the secrets
and all of this. So this is what so somebody asked me this recently, so I'll tell you here again. Okay, where do we start? I know starting from as soon as we get into the new year, I've got to do the 3 Wrestle Kingdoms, and then once I fly home, there's Monday I'm doing I'm actually appearing at Raw. Tuesday, I think Tuesday I'm free. Wednesday I'll be doing the first Wednesday once I get back from the Kingdoms. So I'm doing Raw, then I'm doing Dynamite. Thursday I'm actually doing Impact. Then Friday, I'm going to be doing Rampage, but they're also trying to get me to do SmackDown at the moment. So we're trying to figure out the logistics to see if we can make that work. Maybe I can start at whatever one's on first and then get to the other one by the time. Depends on where it is. We're trying to figure that out, but I'll make sure that I let you know so you can update everybody on when and where I'm going to be. And then that weekend, depending on if everybody has any big shows, whatever, I'll be there. I'll be at all them all. So that's my 2022 plans. I'm doing everything, everywhere.
Hell, Royal Rumble, throw it in there. WrestleMania, exactly. Let's do it.
Exactly. And don't forget, obviously, New Japan Strong in 2022. We expect our momentum with me at the forefront to just keep going.